Hi, my YouTubers. You're like, okay, what are you doing? Okay, so I just finished talking to you guys about the fourth dimensional ray meditation and what happened to me, my experience. So I hope you guys have an awesome experience like me. And if you don't worry, just keep doing the meditations. And spiritually, you know, sometimes you're not even aware of what happens when you're asleep, all the learning, all the downloading that they're doing to you. And when the time is right and when you need it, you'll have access to that information. So you don't, you know, for all you know, you could be like, I didn't experience anything. And trust me, you probably had the most profound experience, the most in-depth learning that you did and growing, and you're just not aware of it, but it happened. And when the time is right, you'll be getting this information that you didn't even know you knew you had, or you just know, like you hear stuff and it just makes sense, or wow, how did I know that this is it? Oh, how did I know? See, you were downloading information. So just because you don't remember it doesn't mean it didn't happen, okay? So anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about my crystal grid, my guardian angel crystal grid. I was just going to show it to you. I'm just learning about them. And when I was seeing the crystal grids, and I saw this lady named Hibiscus Moon on Amazon, and I bought her little book. It was like $2.99 or $4.99. I can't remember. Her Kindle book. She's also on YouTube. So when I was seeing it, I was like, that all reminds me of this. Mandalas. You know, I had this one and I got rid of it and I donated it to, I gave it to a teacher. And the kids, I used to work with troubled youth, the children that were in the detention center. And I was, because you know about my childhood, everything I went through, I've told you guys that I've had a very difficult childhood and everything. That prepared me a lot to relate with the kids, and I really did relate with them. And so I used to work with troubled youth, and they really took very well to this. And so I gave it to a teacher, and then I said, you know what, my book, I want it. When I got it, it was not as expensive as what people want for it now. So I had to pay a hefty price for it, but at the end of the day, I got it back. So you have mandalas, or some people will say that they're grids. And you know, now that I'm saying this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I meditate, I see Metatron a lot. He is there always. And so he was telling me about the star Enoch. Now we know that Metatron is Enoch. Enoch became the angel Metatron, who is the record keeper. And he keeps the records of all life, everything, your future lives, past lives, the solar system, you name it. He has record of it. So he was showing me something like this, now that I kind of think about it. And he was telling me the star of Enoch, and he wants me to do a star. So I'm going to do that. Anyway, so it has a lot of beautiful little mandalas, and a lot of people use them to meditate. I've seen some, and they do some funky stuff with my eyes. They look like they're glowing and going like this. So you guys look online. There are some pretty cool mandalas. Well, there's people that work with them, and they use them as grids. And yeah, it was kind of this too. And he said the 10-pointed star of Enoch. That's what he was telling me. I tried to do some research online. I really couldn't get much. Anyway, so if you were to color this with different colors, I bet it would be doing some pretty cool stuff. I only see out of one eye, so I'm pretty amazed when I'm able to see it and get those effects. So the people that do grids do something like this, and they use something too called the flower of life, and it's just a bunch of little circles together. And but you can use this if you want to do a grid. You can put like your master crystal. What is your grid about? This is what I learned. There's really not much information. They basically say go on your instincts. So say I did my angel altar. So I put a big celestite around it, right? Then you can put other crystals around at each point. So you would think, what other crystals can I have that help me connect with my angels? So you could, my angels have told me, I know there's kyanite, and kyanite helps keep you balanced. It doesn't need to be, the good thing about kyanite, you can't wet it because it's chalky, kind of like selenite. But it charges, it clears itself. It doesn't hold on to any negative energy. So if you want to keep something from negative energy and you do a crystal grid, you can include a kyanite. Now, my angels have told me that kyanite, they have told me to have kyanite around me because it helps me connect with them. So you can have kyanite. So let's say I can have a kyanite here, and a kyanite here, and a kyanite here. Quartz, yeah, your master stone, you can have that. Or if you want to supercharge it, of course it's an amplifier, right? So you can put quartz crystals around. And then I could decide to put angelite going around it. And then if I want to have love, right, I could put some rose quartz. And for the communication and connection with my angels, I could put sodalite, right? So you could put some blue sodalite around it. Or blue, anything that's blue helps you connect. You could put blue quartz, blue agate, you name it. Of course, the celestite. They have a bunch of blue little crystals everywhere. So, see, I could have that. And then I have my altar. I can have that in my altar and have a crystal grid. Some people say that grids amplify the crystals because it's sending that energy and it's concentrating that energy even more. So I'm about to take you to my crystal grid that I have in my angel altar. It's the same crystals I had. I just moved the crystals around. So I'm about to take you right now, okay? So this is the crystal that I have for my angel altar, the crystal grid that I did. I went online and I did some search on crystal grids, and the lady had one like that. And so this is how I did it. So I put my celestite right in the center because I want it to be an angel crystal grid. And then I put two. It has one here and one in the back, right across from each other. I have this angelite. Then I put sodalite here, and there's a sodalite across from it too. I'll show it to you in a little bit. And then I have the kyanite, and then I have another kyanite across from each other. And here I have two quartz crystal pendants. Wands, they have the little, they're called wands because they have this, the little point. I did that, and then I have 10 round amethyst. So I have 5 here on this end and 5 on the other. And there was enough for a gap. And I put another sodalite here and another sodalite there. And I also put a crystal celestite and another celestite. I pretty much, what I did here, I did on the other side, but I inverted it. So let me show you how it looks on the other side. Can you see it? I'm seeing the top of the crystal only, but see? So I did that, and I placed it on a copper sheet that I have. See, I do copper jewelry for myself. It's just copper jewelry. Nothing fancy, just to help me amplify my crystals, because copper is a conducer. It conducts. So I had, instead of buying like 16 gauge, which is thicker, the lower the number, the thicker the copper is, I ended up buying 21 gauge. And see, and so it was like foil paper, a little bit thicker than foil paper that I had bought on Amazon. And so I said, perfect, this is a perfect conducer for my crystal, my grid. And so what you do is you make sure you clear all your crystals. Yeah, okay. You clear all your crystals, and you clear them either with sound, right, like a bell, or you clear them with incense or sage. That's usually about the easiest way, because some of them you can't wet them. Some people clear them with wetting them. So the easiest way is just with sage or incense. That's what I do. And then I program them, and so I program them to be for my angel altar, so that way my house or my room is always resonating with the highest vibration, and that it's a portal, so that way I can have divine connection constantly going through, and I can receive it easily and effortlessly. And so that like I said, my house vibrates at a higher vibration constantly. So then you place your crystals. Remember, you could even put the piece of paper on top. Remember the mandalas that I showed you? And then you connect them. And you go from the smallest to the farthest one out. Now, earlier I dropped I don't know if you saw, but I dropped my copper bracelet. And because I moved the crystal, see, let's see if I move the crystal like that. You see how this moved? I broke the grid. I broke the energy that was going around it. So you have to make sure that you don't break it. So what you do to charge, once you're done placing it and meditating and saying this is what it's for, and be very specific about what you want your altar to be for, you connect it. And you connect it from here, the inside, the main crystal. You bring it out. You connect it to this one, which is the Angelite. Then I bring it back in. Then I connect it to the amethyst, bring it back in, and I'm going to go clockwise. Connect it to the solidite, bring it back in. Connect it to the amethyst, bring it back in. Connect it to the other solidite, bring it back in. Celestite, bring it in. Quartz crystal point, bring it in. Amethyst, bring it in. You don't have to touch them, but if you want to, you can. Amethyst, bring it in. I have the kyanite, bring it in. Bringing it to the amethyst that's back there, bring it in. Other amethyst, bring it in. Angelite, bring it in. Solidite, bring it in. Amethyst, bring it in. And I should have another crystal because I mirrored it. Okay. Yeah, I have the solidite in, amethyst in, celestite in, quartz crystal point in, amethyst in, other amethyst in, kyanite in, amethyst in, and then back to my celestite, and I'm done. Now, this is to use a quartz point. So I bought this. It's a chakra. It's a quartz point, and that's what I use. It's a wand. I went ahead and I did that. And I meditated over it, and I definitely feel vibration. Now, of course, I've had this angel altar there for a long time, but I went ahead and decided to put it in a grid. Definitely felt it. And so you can try looking online and see if you find any information regarding grids. This was the easiest. Or you can go on how you feel, but you always have to connect those the crystals. Some people go, and when they connect it, they do the small ones first, the ones closest, and then they come back and do the outer ones. Some people seal it by going around it afterwards. They seal the circle. Some people do triangles, hexagons, you name it. And I want to show you what I did too. I made me a crown because my crystals were always falling all over the place. And so this crown goes over my head. And I have the quartz crystal that sits right over my crown, and the amethyst, which sits right over my third eye. I have two, I mirrored it. I have two quartz, a celestite, selenite, which is also a clearing, another quartz, and then I have a celestite at the tip. Then have another quartz, selenite, rose quartz. Love, right? That's the reason, to open my heart chakra too. Celestite, and again, it's mirrored. What I did is I glued it with E6000. It's the best glue I've found out there. It's awesome if you allow it to dry the way you're supposed to let it dry, which is 24 to 48 hours. If you don't allow it to dry right, then it's not going to work. And then what I did is I used the clips, very strong clips that close the potato chip bags or bread. That's what I used to keep this in place. And then I put two clothespins right on the side to keep the crystal from sliding. First, I went ahead and glued the crown itself without the crystals. That's what I did on this end anyway. What I did is I cut 16 gauge copper, and I did it, and then I went ahead and I shaped it. And then once I was done shaping it, I went ahead and what I did first, I lied to you. I went ahead and I glued the crystals first here, except this crystal. The same thing here. I glued the crystals. As you can see, I did markings. Let me show you where you can see the markings. See, you can see right there where I marked it. There's a marker. There's another marking. And I knew where they were going to go. And I roughed it a little bit. I sanded this so that the crystal could stick on there. And I sanded a little bit of the crystal so that way it sticks in there. Then when I was done and all that glued, which took me about over a week, because I want to make sure everything glued, and I used the clips and the paper and the clothespins. I first started like this, and then I went to this one, and then I went to this one, this one, this one. At the end, when I was done, and then I glued these two with this, and I made sure that it was perfect, so you can see where I did it, because I want to make sure it fit around my head perfectly. Once I did that, and I glued and I held it there with clothespins. This one I held it for 48 hours. Then I went ahead and I put the last crystal. My sister says I look like Xena, the princess warrior. I did it because I was tired of my crystals falling all over the place. That's why. And then I'll show you. Let me see if you can see how it looks. See if I can see myself. You can see my art too. See how it looks? Let me see. Let's go up a little bit. See, there I am. This is how I look. Hopefully you can see it. This is how it looks, and it stays in place when I meditate. That way I don't have to be worrying about my chakras going, not chakras, but my crystals going all over the place. If it's too tight, all I do is, right, open it a little bit. If I feel it's too loose, right, all I do is I expand it a little bit, or it's push it in a little bit. And I've had it for like 2 years, and it hasn't broken. So, as I said, E6000 glue is awesome. So I guess I'm Xena, the crystal warrior, because that's what my sister says. I saw a guy kind of did the same thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only crazy one. So, see? Perfect. So have fun. You can make your own if you'd like. I have no jewelry making experience whatsoever. I know some of you guys are like, yeah, we can tell. So I hope the crystal grid kind of influences you guys. My angels had asked me to look into that, so I went ahead and I did that. And this, I guess I was guided to do it too, because I was tired of these these two. I don't have a problem with any of the other ones, but I was tired of these two always rolling off and falling off my head when I was trying to do the meditation. So I want to thank you guys for joining me, and you guys take care. Have a good one. Bye.